A swamp is a wetland that is forested. Many swamps occur along large rivers where they are critically dependent upon natural water level fluctuations. Other swamps occur on the shores of large lakes. Some swamps have hammocks or dry land protrusions covered by aquatic vegetation or vegetation that tolerates periodic inundation. The two main types of swamps are freshwater swamps and saltwater swamps. The water of a swamp may be freshwater, blackish water, or seawater. Some of the world's largest swamps are found along major rivers such as the Amazon, the Mississippi, and the Congo. Swamps can be found on all continents except Antarctica. The largest swamp in the world is the Amazon River floodplain, which is particularly significant for its large number of fish and tree species. There is 1,750 to 2,000 millimeters of rainfall per year. The temperature in swamps range from 15 to 35 degrees centigrade. Swamps can be found in Africa, Asia, Europe, North and South America. Swamps are characterized by mineral soils with poor drainage and by plant life dominated by trees. They exist in areas with poor drainage and sufficient water supply to keep the ground waterlogged, and they have a high enough supply of minerals in the water to stimulate decay of organisms and prevent the accumulation of organic materials. Abiotic limiting factors in swamps include salinity, sunlight, temperature, dissolved oxygen, fertilizers, and pollutants. Fertilizers flow into the system from yards and farms. The fertilizers contribute to algae growth. The algae then removes dissolved oxygen from the water, and organisms die. In this case, the fertilizer indirectly limits the amount of oxygen available, thus it has a negative impact on the organisms in swamps. We now transition to the organisms in swamps. The four main producers are willows, cattail, maples, and poison ivy. The four main consumers include the American alligator, frogs, snapping turtles, and snakes. The common predator and prey relationships include the American alligator and the white-tailed deer, the great blue heron and the white perch, and last but not least, the green anaconda and the capybara. Over time, plants and animals have adapted in order to survive in swamps. For example, different types of frogs adapt by camouflaging with the different types of leaves and plants in the biome in order to survive from predators. They will often submerge themselves in aquatic plants and leave only their eyes poking out above the water to watch for food. Many swamp plants have hollowed stems that transport oxygen down to the roots where they are needed. Others have special air spaces in their roots through which water-based oxygen ions can enter the roots and be used for survival. In terms of the environmental impact that humans have had on swamps, we have drained swamps to provide additional land for agriculture and to reduce the threat of diseases borne by swamp insects. Many swamps have also undergone intensive logging, requiring the construction of drainage ditches and canals. These ditches and canals contributed to drainage and along the coast allowed salt water to intrude, converting swamps to marsh or even to open water. Large areas of swamps were therefore lost or degraded. On a more positive note, ecologists all around the world recognize that swans provide valuable ecological services, including flood control, fish production, water purification, carbon storage, and wildlife habitat. In many parts of the world, authorities protect swans. In parts of Europe and North America, swan restoration projects are becoming widespread. Often, the simplest steps to restoring swamps involve plugging drainage ditches. I believe that in order to preserve swamps, education on the positive effects of biomes should be taught to people worldwide. Moving on, let me introduce you to an endangered organism that lives in the swamps of Florida, the Florida panther. It is one of the top predators in its habitat and is a necessary element in regulating the food chain. Predatory hunting by panthers help keep the number of its prey, such as armadillos, wild hogs, and raccoons, in balance. Unfortunately, its status became endangered in 1967. A reason why the Florida panther's population has not improved is because females do not wander far outside its home, and therefore panthers are poor colonizers and expand their range slowly despite occurrences of males far away from the core population. Additionally, humans threaten Florida panther's population through poaching and wildlife control measures. Besides predation, the biggest threat to the survival is human encroachment. Automobile collisions are a big reason for its decline in population. Only 80 to 100 panthers still remain, making them one of the most rare and endangered mammals in the world. Current efforts to help increase the population of Florida panthers include breeding them with other cougar species. This will help strengthen the gene pool. A captive breeding program was established in 1991. 10 panther kittens were removed from the wild. The goal of the program was to increase a healthy breeding population for reintroduction into the wild. Finally, in an effort to restore the Florida panther's population and to combat people running over panthers, bridge crossings for motor vehicles and wildlife underpasses have been constructed on I-75 and other sites where Florida panthers are most likely to cross. Fortunately, there has been no panthers killed on a Florida highway for the past 2 years. Alright guys, this is it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week for the next edition of Biomes.